Guys, let's work with some materials which will help you to improve your level of English. Keeping a vocabulary notebook. What do you do? This is what some students do. I write down new English words and phrases in my notebook, and next to each one I write a Spanish translation. I usually write down if a word is a noun, verb, adjective, and so on. I sometimes write a word in phonemics because English pronunciation is very difficult for me, but my notebook is a mess. I like to draw pictures. I sometimes make a note of new words in my notebook, but I often forget. I usually write a translation and sometimes I write example sentences as well. I've got a notebook, I don't use it much, but when I do, I try and list words by topic, so I put all the animals together and all the close words together and so on. I find I find it's easier to remember the words this way. I note down new words and phrases. Sometimes I translate them into Polish and sometimes I write an explanation in English if it is not difficult. For example, kitten, a very young cat. For heavy rain, we often use the verb pour with rain. For short periods or of light or heavy rain, we use the noun shower. A storm is heavy rain with strong winds. It poured with rain this afternoon. Look, it's really pouring now. We had a couple of heavy showers this morning. A period of hot weather sometimes ends with a thunderstorm. First, it becomes very humid. Then you hear thunder and see lightning, and it's followed by heavy rain. Boiling, hot, warm, not very warm, cold, freezing. In the UK, many people keep pets. The most common are dogs and cats, but people also keep birds, like parrots, that are usually in a cage. Children sometimes keep mice and rabbits. Some people keep more unusual animals as pets, frogs, snakes, and spiders. Cage, parrot, mouse, rabbit, snake, donkey, frog, bull, spider, goat. Monkey, tiger, camel, giraffe, leopard, lion, bear, trunk, elephant. Bee, ant, mosquito, fly, butterfly. Whale, dolphin, shark, octopus. Common expressions. Shake hands with someone, fold your arms, comb your hair, wave to somebody, blow your nose. Hair. Blonde, fair, brown, dark, black. Straight, wavy, curly. My grandmother's name was Mary. She's dead now. She died about 10 years ago when I was in my teens, but I remember her well. She was brought up on a farm in Wales, and her parents were very strict. As a teenager, they didn't allow her to listen to the radio or go to parties in the village. In the end, she decided to leave home and get a job in Cardiff. At first it wasn't easy, but she managed to find work and she also met the man who became her husband, my grandpa, my grandfather. My mother was born 4 years later. She had a very different childhood. She grew up in the city, she was allowed to go to parties, and when she was in her teens, her parents let her stay out late. My mom is the same with me. Romance, marriage, and divorce. I had my first date when I was 16 and it was terrible. I took a girl to the cinema but she didn't like the film and looked bored all evening. It was a bad start. Then, when I was 17, I went out with a girl for 3 months, but we broke up when she met a boy who was 2 years older than me and had a car. My first serious relationships was when I went to university. I got to know Melanie because we were on the same course. At first, we were just friends. Then we started going out with each other, and after a few months, we realized we were in love. We got engaged a couple of years after we left university, and then bathroom routines. I usually have a shower when I get home from college because my sister, Rosie, and my brother, Marcus, spend so much time in the bathroom in the morning. I only have time to have a wash and clean my teeth before Rosie comes in to put on a bit of makeup. In the winter, I sometimes have a bath instead of a shower. I like to lie in the bath and listen to music. I have coffee and cereal for breakfast, then have a light lunch, maybe a sandwich and an apple, and a snack in the afternoon. We have our main meal in the evening. If mom's late home from work, she doesn't bother to cook. We just get a takeaway instead. One of us has to feed the cat as well. Fortunately, we've got a cleaner who does a lot of housework and that includes doing my washing. But I still have to make my bed and do some of my ironing, and I sometimes do the shopping with mom. On weekdays, I usually stay in and watch TV in the evening. At the weekend, I go out quite a lot with my friends, either to the cinema or just to a cafe, and I eat out once a week. Sometimes friends come around and we chat about clothes, music, and college. This is where we live. We rent a flat on the second floor. There's a family in the flat downstairs and a young French couple upstairs on the top floor. It's a modern block of flats and it's quite good, although the lift is small and there is no air conditioning. My parents own a cottage. It's a charming house and has lots of character, but like many old buildings, it's quite dark, quite difficult to heat, and it doesn't have central heating. When we first got married, we lived in a one bedroom flat with a small kitchen, a living room, and a bathroom. When our first child was born, she had to share our bedroom. Now we live in a four-bedroom house. Our bedroom has an ensuite bathroom, or our two teenage children have their own rooms. We have a spare room for guests and another bathroom. Downstairs, there is a living room, a dining room, and a study. We've also got a lovely big kitchen with a fridge, freezer, a cooker with two ovens, and a dishwasher. Next to it, there is a small utility room where we keep the washing machine. I've had a bank account for a few years now, and I make sure my account is always in credit. I go to the cash point once a week, so I always have some cash with me, and I check my account online once a week to see how much money I've got. When I went to university, I had to get a student loan to pay my fees. That meant I had to be careful and make sure I didn't waste money. But by the time I finished my degree, I owed a lot. One good thing is that I don't have to pay it back until I get a job and I'm earning a reasonable amount of money. At the moment, I'm saving up for a new laptop. The one I have is very slow and keeps going wrong. I'd like to have a car as well, but I can't afford it. This year, I'm renting a flat with three friends of mine. We had to pay 1 month's rent as a deposit, but it's a nice place, quite good value for money, and the landlord isn't charging us to use his garage. For serious illnesses, you will probably go into hospital. A person who stays in hospital is called a patient. Many patients need an operation. Earring, top, necklace, bracelet, ring, boots. Tights, skirt. Collar, tie, sleeve, scarf, button, suit, pocket. Cap, t-shirt, rucksack, jumper, zip, jacket, jeans, trainers. Fashion. Which are you? I usually shop with a friend. I always try on clothes before I buy them. I sometimes buy clothes that don't suit me just because they're fashionable. If I buy trousers or a skirt, I buy a shirt or a top to go with it at the same time. My wardrobe is full of clothes that I buy and hardly ever wear. I like to buy designer labels even though they're more expensive. I like wearing fashionable clothes, but the price has to be reasonable. I never buy clothes just because they're in fashion. I like to dress in clothes that are casual but still look quite fashionable. I'm always happy with what I've got on. Suites, basket, shelves, checkout, trolley. Some people like modern shopping centers because everything is under one roof and it is convenient. There's a wide range of shops, and if there is anything wrong with something you buy, the shop will replace it or give you a refund. Other people prefer going to street markets because they like the atmosphere you get from the different stalls. Food and clothes are also usually cheaper in street markets. Sometimes you can try to agree a lower price for something you buy in a street market. We call this haggling. Of course, if you don't like what you buy in a street market, you can't normally take it back and get a refund. Pineapple, peach, strawberry, bunch of grapes, olives, pear, melon, lemon, coconut. Beans, peas, onion, garlic, carrot, mushrooms, aubergine, courgette, pepper, cabbage, broccoli, spinach. A salad is usually a mixture of uncooked ingredients. In Britain, it mainly has lettuce as well as tomato, cucumber, onion, and other things. We often put salad dressing, usually oil or vinegar, or perhaps oil and lemon on salad. Lettuce, tomato, cucumber, oil, vinegar. Salmon, prawns, mussels, crab. You boil potatoes or rice in a saucepan. You can fry sausages in a frying pan. You grill toast or meat under a grill. You roast meat in the oven. You also bake cakes in the oven. You barbecue meat and fish on a barbecue. Food which is not cooked is raw. Chefs always taste the food while they're cooking. I don't like the taste of too much garlic. I tried the soup and it tasted a bit strange. Michael's food is very tasty. Indian food is a bit too spicy. You get ice cream in different flavors. Lena said her pasta was horrible, but I thought it was delicious. I'm a bit nervous when I cook, so I always follow a recipe and make sure I have all the right ingredients before I start. However, I'm quite good at making pies, especially apple pie. For me, the rush hour is the worst time of day. Everywhere is busy and everyone seems to be in a hurry. I usually drive to work, but sometimes I get stuck in traffic jams. And when I get to work, I find there's nowhere to park because the car park is already full. But if I get the bus, it takes me longer and that makes the journey very stressful. When I get home in the evenings, I often feel exhausted, more from the traveling than from my work. One of the advantages of living in the city is the nightlife. The town center is always lively in the evening, and there is a wide variety of bars, clubs, and restaurants to go to. If you are more interested in culture and cultural activities, you can go to the cinema, the theater, concerts, and galleries. Sorry, art galleries, etc. I grew up in the countryside where I was surrounded by nature. As children, we used to play on the banks of the river and in the woods. In the summer, we picked apples and blackberries. In the autumn, we often picked mushrooms. The seasons were all different, and I loved the scenery, the open spaces, and the fresh air. I still do. My uncle owns a farm. He keeps a few animals, but mostly he grows crops like barley, wheat, and potatoes. Farming is a hard life. My uncle is usually up at 5 in the morning, and sometimes his work isn't finished until sunset. The worst thing about living in a village is that there isn't much to do in the evening, apart from going to the village pub. The nearest town is 8 miles away and public transport is hopeless. And of course, you don't get many shops in a village. Okay, thank you for watching. Put a like on my video and subscribe to my channel.